Well, dude, you are live right now on the Zach Moonshine Show with Metal Devastation fucking radio, man. How the fuck are you doing?
Metal Devastation. I'm doing good. Doing good. It's 10 o'clock where I am at. You're on the East Coast too, right? Are you down there in Tennessee somewhere?
Yeah.
Right on.
So,
yeah, doing good.
So tell us, man, what's going on in the world of Diesel Machine right now?
Oh, man, just really excited to get this record done. You know, it's something we've been working on for a while, and across the coast and across the timeline and across different bands, and you know, everyone being different places and touring in different things, and finally got it all together and ready to put it out.
So give us a little history on Diesel Machine, man. How did this thing come together?
All right, well, Diesel Machine started, let's see, I was in a band in Los Angeles, a band called World in Pain, and we were a heavier band, kind of groove, kind of like a, I don't know, if Pantera met King's X kind of vibe, you know, something that had a little bit of everything. And, you know, we were doing a lot of gigs, and Pat Lockman was in a band at the time called State of the Art, and it was, you know, kind of like a, I don't know, progressive metal kind of thing going on with his brother singing and he's playing guitar. And we did some shows together. We just kind of hit it off, you know. We did a few more shows together and got to become fast friends, you know. And he was looking to go a little heavier than what he had. And at the time, I was looking to go a little bit heavier than what I had. And that's kind of where Diesel Machine started. And we started it by calling it Diesel at the time. And we found out there's another band from somewhere who, I don't know. So we decided to just put the machine on the end. And that's where the, you know, machine, where the name came from anyway. But yeah, so Pat and I guess it would be 1995 is when we kind of, you know, got it going. And I was with a guitar player of mine that was in my band, World in Pain. His name is Jeff Moore. And us three started it up from the very get-go. And I was playing drums and trying to sing, and the other two were playing guitar, and that just, you know, it didn't last too long because obviously drumming always suffers when you're trying to sing over it. And I wasn't like, you know, I'm a good drummer, but I'm not, you know, like Shane. So Shane came into the picture, and it was just, after that, it was, you know, the machine made more sense because he played like that. He was very machine-esque in his kicks, and him and Pat hit off real well too. So yeah, that's kind of where it's all started back in 1995, and from there, it's, you know, now we're here.
Right on, man. I got some questions for you from the listeners. Let me see here. JMCT wants to know, what's your favorite place to play?
Favorite place to play on stage would be the first part, but nowadays,
right?
But you know, whew, you play so many different places. It's more about the people, really. I mean, it's not so much the place. It's always nice to have good stages and good PAs and everything, but I would say with the band I was in last, which was Soil, playing the Download festivals and Sonosphere festivals were probably one of the most favorites, just because of the massive amount of people that were there. When you're playing in front of 40, 50,000 people, it was pretty crazy, and the stages are, you know, top-notch festival size staging, and that's just very surreal to look out there and to be screaming into a microphone in front of people. Unfortunately, it wasn't with Diesel Machine, but it was probably my favorite place to play for sure.
Oh yeah, man. I can imagine, dude. That's a lot of fucking people, dude.
Yeah, it's kind of surreal when you look out there and you're just a sea of people. And, you know, I mean, technically they're not there for me. They're there for the headliners, which was, I forget at the time, Metallica maybe, or I forget actually. But, you know, but it's still there, and they're still, you know, shouting and getting into it, and you're getting mosh pits going, and it's awesome. Yeah, it's a good time.
Hell yeah. Another question from Elizabeth Diana. She wants to know, what year were you playing the LA shows?
The LA shows, years, were probably it was the early 2000s and late 99s, 98, I guess, 1998, 99, were the LA years. We played a bunch of shows. And it's Troubadour and in Hollywood. We played with Prong and Crowbar, and well, it's Crowbar was awesome. They still are. And then we did a little tour with Static X and Soulfly, and we did play the LA Palladium at the time, and a few other places on the West Coast. But yeah, LA was, man, there was not a whole lot of places to play. They don't really allow a whole lot of mosh pitting in LA anymore. They didn't at that time anyway. But Troubadour would probably be one of the ones I remember. We played the Whiskey also. Those were the two places that mainly that we played there in LA. We did play Musicians Institute also a few times because Shane was, I think, teaching there, and we had a cool little following built up there. And it was just odd because they don't have heavy bands play there. And when we played there's like a little mosh pit in the front area, and people were freaking out. But it was fun. It was a lot of blast playing there too.
Oh yeah, man. Another question from Titan. He wants to know what bands captivated your influences and future outlook.
Well, what bands? That's kind of a broad statement because I'm influenced by a lot of different music. Because doing both things, with the super heavy stuff and then with more melodic stuff. I mean, I wouldn't say grow up, but in the 90s was kind of the coolest time for music, in my opinion. The Soundgarden, the Alice in Chains, Pantera, definitely were the three major influences for me vocally. Pantera being the heavier side, obviously, but musically, those bands were quite amazing. And then I got into the heavier stuff, the Crowbar, and once I heard that, I was like, oh man, this is insane. And then, of course, Meshuggah was coming along, and they were like just awesome. I still can't understand it how they play that way with the odd time signatures and the craziness, but they're just insanely awesome. And they were influenced musically for sure on us. But Prong was into Prong, into all the basic heavy stuff. Metallica was cool back in the day, and I kind of lost touch with that after you start seeing other cool stuff, like Machine Head and bands like that that are really cool. And Static X was Wayne was a good friend of mine at the time, and I liked his band a lot too. But growing up, it was the typical influences, from Motley Crue to Van Halen to Metallica, Rush, all the basic stuff. But once I hit LA, you get exposed to so much more, and I hit that when I was like 19. So Slayer, obviously, in my thrash days, Testament for sure was badass and still is. And I think Chuck Billy, definitely his vocals in Testament was another influence for me vocally too. All that lower stuff that he could hit, I wish I could sing that low, but my voice line goes so low, but he's a master of that heavy, brutal growl from the depths,
Oh yeah, man. Speaking of Static X, man, what do you think about their new resurrection that they've got going on?
It's just a loaded question. I guess I don't know, man. I'm not jumping up and down about it. Wayne and I were pretty close. We rehearsed at the same place in downtown LA, and I was managing the studio at the same time when he was there, and that's how we kind of met each other. And then I gave him my Diesel Machine CD that we did the first one on SPV Steam Hammer there back in 2000, and he was digging it. He said, "Dude, why don't you come with us on tour?" And so we did our thing. But he was kind of normal back then and just like a cool dude. And I think things changed a lot on him as far as how he was later on in life at the end with his wife there. And so I don't know. The music I'm a fan of, the new stuff that they have with him on there, and they remixed it and stuff, and it sounds killer. It sounds good. It's hard to kind of watch. As far as touring with it, with the person that they have doing it, it's a little, I don't know, man. It's just hard to swallow, especially when you've toured with them and you've done that, But the other guys in the band are cool too, Tony is a good guy, and they're cool dudes. It's just I don't know. From a musician standpoint, it's a little bit tough. I think that they're trying to do a good thing at the end of the day, and that's what matters. And they're keeping the name alive, and they're still creating. But how long it'll last, I don't know. But if anyone can continue this day and age to make music, I would say go for it. I don't even know if that answers your question, honestly. If you want to just a flat out, do I like it or not? I'm still on the shelf about that. I just don't know. It's like I said, I'm not jumping for joy about it. Let's put it that way.
I hear you, man. Yeah, there's a few songs on it that I do dig, but like I totally get what you're saying, man. I understand.
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah. Let's leave. Let's let that one lie, I guess. From there.
Another question. JMCT wants to know, what do you prefer better, bubble baths or showers?
There is no time for baths. I don't know what world he lives in. If you can get a quick 10-minute shower in this house, that'd be a killer. I got 2 kids, and they take all the bath time up, so and all the water. So I'd say shower as fast as you can and move on to the next thing.
Oh yeah. So, as far as the coronavirus pandemic going on right now, like, how are you guys being? How have you been affected by it? And what's your take on what's to come in the future for bands, especially?
Well, in the music world, I think it's just took a huge hit, as everyone knows. The live playing is a whole nother thing now. It's a little bit dismal. I have kind of a negative look on it. I have a negative look on life most time, anytime, as a lot of Diesel Machine is about. But man, the coronavirus, it's not cool, number one. Number two, it affects everything that a band is trying to achieve. Trying to achieve playing out, and you're trying to achieve your dream of being a musician, and you're like, well, I kind of have to be a cyber musician now, and do a lot of online things, and I mix bands live too, on the side, and I try to mix bands now, and it's a lot different than it was. You're at a club or you're at a place, and everyone has to wear a mask, and they can only allow so many people in. There's a lot of rules to follow, and you have to wear a mask if you're walking around, but you can take it off if you're sitting down, and it's a bunch of craziness going on with all that. It's really hard to figure out where it's going to go. I hope they figure something out in the music industry so we can continue to make music and to play live for people and to make it safe for everyone at the same time, because it's definitely here and it's staying here and for a while, and I don't really see it going anywhere. But I'm not a doctor either. I'm just seeing what I see, and my kids are definitely affected by it too. I mean, they're growing up in a whole different world now than what we had. So
yeah, I've got a couple of young children too, and it's it's rough as it is with them being home from school, and we're not even putting them back in school right now. Actually, we're going to homeschool them, but. Which is tough, but it's at the same time, it's like you gotta, I don't know, it just doesn't feel safe, but at the same time, it really sucks to see them have to suffer as far as like not being able to see their friends and do the things that we all grew up doing. It's a different world.
Yeah, it's definitely tough for them, and it's tough for us, to try to teach. I mean, my 7-year-old, his math is already better than mine, so it's hard to teach him from home. But so it's making me try to get a little sharper. But my 3-year-old, he's in for a whole different world too. And we had to homeschool him here, when this all started, and they all had to come home, and it's a lot more pressure on the house and on everybody. And I feel bad. He's got a lot of friends, and he wants to have them come over, and you're like, okay, we can play in the yard at a distance, and it's just not the same, It's not the same. So yeah, it's I hope things turn around somewhere. I hope some things positive start happening. Let's put it that way.
Hopefully, man. Hopefully.
Yes.
Another question from Thunderous. She wants to know, when playing live, has there been any accidents, something memorable?
I would say accidents. Just nothing too memorable. I mean, I've jumped off some speakers that probably weren't too smart to do. When you get the adrenaline going, I remember jumping off some stage monitors that were some side fills, and they were, up over my head, and I'm 6'4", so they were up there. And I remember jumping over a bass player and slipping and landing on my back on a monitor.
Damn.
At the end of a song, trying to end it off, and everyone's yelling jump, jump, jump. When they're yelling, you're like, well, yeah, I got to jump, So I guess that would be the only thing I can remember that wasn't a smart idea to do. And the other thing I could say is jumping from the stage down to the barricade is not always the best thing to do either. When you try to land on this little step, if you've ever been up front of the barricade, there's a little step that's there on the other side, on the stage side, that is, and it's just, about as wide as your feet. And when you land on that, your knees smash into the metal. And so I got some nice things in my knees from doing that for over the years. And so that's kind of the only hazards that I can think of, besides getting hit with like a beach ball in the face, or something like that, or someone's shoe, but that's neither here nor there. But I've jumped in the pits too from stage, bouncing off, right from stage, clearing the gap from the barricade right down, and that's another thing that's tough. But luckily people get out of the way when someone's coming that way usually. But those are the kind of the hazards and dangers that I had to deal with, being on stage. Because once you get going and the adrenaline starts running, you think you can do anything, but technically you can't. That's probably wasn't smart to do. So, but I'm still upright to this day, so I guess it worked out okay.
Right on, man. What about like backstage? Any funny stories that you have from looking back on your career?
Funny stories. I think, what was it? What those guys do? Stains. We were touring with Stain once, and I'm referring to the band Soil because Diesel Machine, we didn't do as much touring around the world as I did with the Soil guys. But with the Soil guys, I think Stain one time what'd they do? They silly puttied us. What is it called? That's the silly string. That's what it is. They silly stringed us really bad at the end of a gig, at the end of a tour one time, and it just was flying from everywhere. I had no clue where it was coming from. It was coming from behind us. That was on stage. As far as backstage, there's really not, it's not a lot of goofing off going on. It's kind of just business and taking care of gear and trying to get clean and use a shower if there happens to be one. And that's, stealing any food you can find to put on a tour bus to last to the next gig. It's pretty much it, but not a whole lot of shenanigans going on.
Right on. Another question, Elizabeth wants to know, are you a Mac guy? I guess.
Yeah.
Apple.
You mean Apple guy? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Right on. So for people out there listening, where can they go to find out more about Diesel Machine and pick up a copy?
That's a good question. Well, I'd say it started our Facebook page, and our record should be coming out here eventually. What's the date anyway? Is it already out yet?
Today's the 7th.
Yeah, I'm not sure, man. I live in the middle of nowhere, and I'm kind of cut off from the world these days.
Oh, the promo says August 21st.
Well, there you go, August 21st. I guess it's going to be a lot of online stuff going on these days with shopping. And if you want to find anything about us that's happening, any uploaded videos or anything, Shane's page is always real busy. And I'm not a big Facebook guy myself. I think I left off at MySpace back in the day, if you remember what that was all about.
Yeah.
I didn't. I'm not a proponent of Facebook, but unfortunately, I'm probably going to have to be because of the way the world is and how to communicate with fans and to get music out there. So it's probably something I'm going to have to figure out. But yeah, I would start with our Diesel Machine Facebook page and go from there if you want to find out what's up with us. Shane just did a really cool drum playthrough on the song called React, and it's pretty cool. It's up there on the on the site right now, so it's pretty neat.
Hell yeah. I got another question from Lady Red. She wants to know, what do you prefer, sausages or pies?
Pie. It's got to be. It's got to be, just because the question.
What a fucking weird question, man.
But I like Italian sausages, and then have some pie for dessert. But I don't know what the question's about. But I'm definitely a dessert guy at the end of the day. Absolutely.
Right on. Elizabeth wants to know, do you have any advice for younger kids trying to break into the scene, or younger bands?
The scene. That word alone is difficult. Trying to break into the scene in Los Angeles was very maddening and frustrating, and a lot of songs were written about that, and trying not to give up and trying to stay, keep the dream alive. But it's, you gotta, if you want to be a musician, you gotta take what's the sacrifices that come with it, and there's a lot of them, especially at the early stage. I think the good thing about being a musician these days is that you can be seen a lot easier than back in my day. I remember flyering the Strip in Hollywood back when it was Gazzari's, Roxy, and Whiskey, and you're flyering, other bands and other people to come to your shows. And now, it's all online. Facebook is probably the number one thing. But I mean, advice to up and coming musicians is to, hone your craft the best you can. Get some really good friends in your band, good guys. They don't have to be the best players, but they have to be good friends and guys you don't mind being around, or girls that you don't mind being around in your band. And surround yourself with that, number one, because there's nothing worse than being in a band with people that you don't see eye to eye and don't agree and don't like. Let's put it that way. You don't want to just do that just because of the music. You want to be surrounded by dudes that are cool, and even if they're not the best player, I will take a cool dude who plays, mediocre over, someone who's an awesome player who's just a douchebag, So that would be the number one thing, is just to find some good people to play with. And, I guess you'd have to get on Facebook, start a page, get some videos out, and do the best you can, and, hope for that dream, and just get ready for the sacrifices that can come with it,
Hell yeah.
That's it.
Another question, Vicky wants to know, do you hope your kids follow your musical path?
Man, my dad was not happy at all about what I did. So I'm already like, you turn into your parents, and I've already turned into that, 7 years ago. If they want to do music, it's, I'll be behind them, absolutely, no matter what they want to do. I can help them a little bit, obviously, with music, and I can kind of show them the realities of it. But I don't know. It's tough to say that, because you give up so much to be a musician that it's you can't have everything. Something has to always suffer. So, but if they really want to do it, yeah. They don't even know what I do. Let's put it that way. When I was singing this record, I did a lot of it everywhere, but I did a lot of it from home. And I'd be in here. I'm like waiting until the kids go to bed to come in here and scream into a microphone, and it's just like, like, why is Daddy mad, screaming in his room? They don't quite get it, and it's fine right now. Diesel Machine is not for a 3-year-old or a 7-year-old at this stage. They don't understand it. So yeah, it's I'll be behind them if they decide to be a musician. Absolutely, I'll just teach them and show them the best I can of what to do and what not to do. And music is a great thing, and it's brought me a lot of wonderful things and a lot of heartache and pain at the same time. And it's also brought me some of the best things in life. So you can't really say no to that,
Hell yeah.
Just be ready to suffer. There you go, kids. Be ready to suffer.
Another question, Mikey wants to know, do you keep discarded material for B-sides and outtake albums?
I keep everything, man. I got so much junk laying around. I found all sorts of stuff, and yeah, so I keep stuff. There's not a whole lot of outtakes kind of thing, but there's videos. I think would be the number one thing that I have from LA gigs. Just VHS. I need to get transferred. We did like a torture test video back in the day that never got released. I'll probably try to get that out pretty soon, and you'll probably be able to find that on Facebook. I got to get it transferred first, and I'll throw it up there. It's pretty funny. Funny meaning that it's 20 years ago. Funny. It's a few hairlines ago for me, but yeah, I keep stuff. I got some pictures laying around, some old flyers, and old memorabilia here and there. But and all music and rehearsal tapes and things like that. Yeah, I keep all that kind of stuff. I got tubs of it. I got all these blue tubs laying everywhere. I got to dive in and find stuff, old masters, and to remaster and to remix and things. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Right on. Well, AJ, I'm about out of questions for you. Is there anything
Cool.
else you want to let your fans know?
Oh man, for those of you who know who we are, that's a good thing. We're kind of an underground, unspoken band, really. Back in the day, it's like we kind of started off with a bang, and then things happened, and we've always kind of been around. I would say to those who are sticking by us, so we appreciate it, and we have some new material coming out that we're really proud of, and it took a long time to get finished, and we can't wait to get it out there, man, and keep an eye on our Facebook to stay in touch with us for sure. And then, yeah, I'll have to I guess I got to start a Facebook page. Jesus, I don't want to. I'm gonna have to. I'm like an old man over here on the hill, but I'm gonna probably have to. It kind of makes sense, I guess, these days.
I hear you, dude. All right, well, before I let you go, I got to get you to make us a station tag, all right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, whenever you're ready, say something like, "This is Diesel Machine, and you're listening to Metal Devastation Radio."
This is AJ from Diesel Machine, and you're listening to Metal Devastation Radio.
Fuck yeah, man. All right.
Cool, man.
Well,
thank you very much.
Thanks a lot for taking the time to talk to us, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play some more Diesel Machine for these motherfuckers so they can go crazy, all right?
What track are you into, by the way? What's your go-to, or what's the first thing that catches you off of that record?
Well, Death March is fucking badass, man. Fucking Exit Wound, I'm fixing to play that next.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. All right, man. Turn it up. Thank you very much for everything. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Cheers. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Okay, bye-bye.
There you have it, folks. AJ from fucking Diesel Machine live on the Zach Moonshine Show with Metal Devastation motherfucking radio. Like I said earlier, put your speakers in your fucking windows, put them in your front lawns, put them in your fucking neighbor's fucking driveway. I don't give a fuck. Crank it the fuck up. If you don't fucking see U-Haul trucks everywhere tomorrow, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you, man. You got problems. Seriously. Crank it the fuck up. Loud as a fuck.